What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Travis. I'm the owner of Prerunner Motorsports. Those of you who are new to the channel, this is my 2008 Chevy Silverado Prerunner build. We are in the middle of doing the 4-link suspension. It is using a GMR full floater housing, custom trailer arms that I built. All 4-link mounts, inner and outer, that I have built as well. Let's see if I can get you in there. And then most recently we mounted a Jack's Motorsports Jazz Jeep Speed fuel cell. It's a rear skid plate, typically used under the bed if you're gonna leave the bed. But we obviously do not have our bed. So I'm using it just as a fuel cell mount. That way, if anything happens to break, drive shaft or upper links or anything come apart, it's not going to puncture my super expensive fuel cell. And it's also just a really great way to mount it. Once I actually get a fuel cell, I will have to build some straps and stuff, but in the meantime we are going to get the bumps in, which is what we're going to work on now. I'm going to mount my last 2 rear bead locks. I already have the front ones on. But yeah, we're gonna get these rear bead locks put together. I'm going to lower the whole truck down, all the way down to full bump. I'm gonna adjust the ride height to about where I want it. And then we're gonna mount our hydraulic bump stops, as long as double check all the clearance on the bed sides. So let's go ahead and let's get these last 2 wheels mounted up and get them thrown together. Alright, so the new wheels and the new tires are on. This is basically what it's going to look like about full bump. The bedside action needs to go about 2 inches lower. But we are going to actually bump the truck just a little bit higher, because right now we are sitting axle on C-notch, and right now we are sitting fender on tire. So the fender, you can see here the holes up there and our old holes down there. So it's a couple inches high. I believe the front we have it like 1 inch higher. So right now, normally it sits that lip down over that tab. Right now it's sitting on that tab. So our issue, we are up against the tire, as you can see here. This rear end is a lot wider, as well as, I didn't realize it, but these wheels are 1.5 inches wider compared to the old wheels. So the back of this truck got a lot wider, like a lot wider. So basically what I'm gonna have to do is cut all this off and remount the bed sides. I have to make sure that it is wide enough to tuck the tire in, like so. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the bed sides off. I already measured. I'm basically going to add 3 inches. I'm gonna leave all my mounts since it's already made. It all bolts to the bedside perfectly. But my idea to make this quick and simple, I always kind of wish I made them removable. So I'm going to cut them flush at the roll bar here, and I'm going to sleeve them with a full-size roll cage tubing that these can sleeve into, and I'm gonna add like a 3.5 or 4 inch piece, and that way this tube can be in it a little ways. So actually I probably go a little bit bigger than that, probably a 5 inch or so, but I want to basically add 3 more inches here, possibly 3.5, just to give it a little bit of space from the tire. That way I don't have to redo any of my mounts. All I got to do is cope a piece of pipe, sleeve it, drill a couple holes, and bolt this together, and everything will be how it is, just 3 inches wider. I'm going to do it front and back. The goofy part is going to be here. My bed sides are going to be not following the body lines. They're going to be 3 inches wider. It's not going to hug the cage like it used to. My nice little notch here used to hug that bar nice and tight. But it will tuck. I don't have to cut my bed sides all crazy, do a giant opening. I love the tuck look. I want it to be full body and everything there. So what I'm going to do future, what I'm going to attempt to do is kind of like the Explorers and the Cherokees and stuff. I'm gonna build a piece on this door. It's gonna start flush here and it's gonna taper out. I think I might put a big scoop or something in it, but I'm gonna blend it so it's gonna look like I meant to do this. It will be down the road. Right now I'm trying to focus on getting it a linked roller. I'm gonna get a fuel cell. I'm gonna get all the internals for this rear end. All that's my main priority now. Bed sides will be remounted. Coilovers, bypasses, everything will be mounted. All this is going to get redone once the cab cage comes through. It'll be done properly. So right now this has always just been kind of to hold a light box and look pre-runner and this and that. So now that I'm actually becoming a pre-runner here, we're going to do it the right way. We're going to come through the cab and out and down and basically tie it into all the pre-existing cage. So those are the issues. I'm going to take the bed sides back off, put them back outside. I'm going to bump it out where it is. I think I'm going to go up an inch, bump it out. That way I have clearances with everything. Get it just a little bit higher off the ground, because right now she is slamming. I mean, right now I am literally a couple inches off the ground here. And like I said, the bedside needs to be lowered, so I'm going to be probably kissing the ground. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift the truck a little bit. I'm going to lower the bedsides. Hopefully it should be about where it's at now. So let's go ahead and take the bedsides off. First thing I'm going to do is bump it, and then we'll remount all the bedsides. What are you doing? Alright, so quick little update on the bump stops. I did get them started last night. I do have them, the bump cams, both on the truck. I have them set at the proper degree and the proper placement. That way when the axle comes up, the little bump pad on the end of the bump, it doesn't drag or move around on the axle. It stays at the proper angle, and all it does is it presses inside. That way you don't create chafing or flat spots or anything that will premature wear or pre-wear or whatever the bump pad. It won't wear it out. So what I did, I put a couple tacks, and then once I was happy with it, I welded it on both sides down the middle there where it touches, and then I added this little plate down the back side to get maximum bite down the back. I did that on both. And what I'm going to do is I have a big gusset that I'm going to cut out right now. I'm going to film cutting it out, and I'm going to dimple it, and I'm going to weld that on there. So both sides, as you can see here, are welded in, fully welded in, front and back, as well as you can see this side a little bit better. You can see the nice little gusset all the way from the bottom all the way to the top, and I even angled it up just for a little bit of extra added leverage. So same gusset over here. Let's go ahead and cut them out. Let's get them stamped, and let's get them welded in. All right guys, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna stamp our dimples. So what you do is you go ahead, you shove this through your piece, and then you have the other side, you put it in there, put it all together, you put it in your press here. Yeah, I should have got it closer earlier. I'm gonna have to upgrade and get a air hydraulic ram here, air ram. Alright, so here we go. So now you get it tight. You can see it's got a gap there. What it's gonna do is it's gonna press into the metal, and you see it start to bow, and then it'll level back out as you go tighter. It'll always keep a little bit of an arch, but it should, for the most part, level back out. Ugh. All right. So there is a little tighter. There's one. Okay. I'm gonna move it to the next hole. There we go. Let's do it again. See it start to level back out a little bit. Alright. Let's go to the next hole. All right, there's 3. So like I said, you do get a little bit of a bow to it, but there you go, there's your piece. Now that I'm gonna have to just lay it on the table flat. I'm gonna have to hammer it straight. If you use thinner metal, this is 10 gauge steel. If you use a little bit thinner, it straightens almost completely out. The thicker stuff, it kind of holds the bow. But that's fine because I can beat it straight and then put it in. Okay, we're gonna do the passenger one now. Make sure that you flip your piece over, otherwise you will stamp them both the same way. And these are both supposed to be mirror images to fit correctly on the opposite sides of the car. That's hole number 1. Hole number 2. I always overpress them a little bit because it, like I said, it does help flatten them, but it also, I don't know if you can see this extra little ring. I know a lot of people don't do it that hard, but I personally kind of like the look of it. I think it gives your dimple die a nice little border. I'll get in there. That hole's a little tight. It's going. There we go. So yeah, like I said, you see the little ring here, the outside ring. I personally like the look of it. I think it gives it a little bit more of a finished look. It's not really the ideal way to do it. There's nothing wrong with doing it. I think it's more consistent to me that way because I guarantee that they're fully pressed in and they all match. if you happen to get like one more pump or half a pump more in one, you might get that little bit of a ring on one side but not the other side. So this way I have it on every single dimpled eye. And then as you can see here, this one is done, same as the other one. Same bow, same everything. We're gonna go ahead. I like to put it on two things and then kind of bend it back and it'll be perfectly straight. So I'm gonna straighten these out and then I'm gonna show you guys welding them in the truck. So that's gonna be a wrap for part 2 of 4-linking my truck. I ended up getting about 50 minutes worth of footage, so I'm just gonna go ahead and chop part 2 into part 2 and 3. So I'm gonna go ahead and make 2 videos out of it. That way you guys, it doesn't take you an hour to sit down and watch a couple little updates. So with that being said, thanks again for watching. We'll see you guys on second half of part 2, which will be part 3. Thanks again for watching. Peace out, guys.